And what's up, everybody? It's Aaron Ray back again with another episode of Franchise Tagged Fantasy Football Podcast. Yeah, it's been a weekend of football. It's technically Monday. The Monday night game's still going on right now with the Rams versus the Niners, and I have a lot riding on the Rams team, and it's not looking too good if you guys know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, Ray, how are you?
Well, I'm just here praying, hoping, sacrificing goats, hoping that San Francisco can put up about 8 more touchdowns, 7 more touchdowns. I'm at 7 touchdowns now. They need 7 more.
I think you only need 6. They scored twice.
Yeah, I need a lot more points, and I need John's defense to be that much more in the negative. I need 7 negative points from his defense, which I don't think is even possible. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. I don't expect them to hang 42 points on the Rams defense.
I don't think they're going to do it, but they've looked good. So far, they've looked pretty
good for you.
Good.
If I would have just outright picked the Niners in the pick'ems, I would have just won no matter what the outcome is. So now I got a nail biter going on that I need some luck to happen.
I'm just playing for third in that. I like playing for third. I like third. You don't get any money. You don't get any accolades. But I just like to know that I was in third.
I'm knocking on wood right now, but if I win this week, it'll be 2 times in 3 weeks that I've won. 2 times in 4 weeks, technically. We're not very far into the season, so it's a pretty good rate.
Aaron, we have some serious news to get to in this episode.
Serious news? Uh-oh.
And some serious waivers.
Waivers?
I know everybody out there, you're probably looking at your roster right now and you're like, man, I need running back help. Well, it just got here. And if you're in a fab, time to spend up. So I want to go over some of the key injuries. Okay? Obviously, DeAndre Swift didn't play, still going to miss a couple games. Jonathan Taylor, hurt. Most likely going to miss Thursday. Maybe Nyheim Hines is out there.
I saw that he's on track to play Thursday.
I saw that he was most likely going to miss.
I mean, it makes sense. Why not just hold him out and give him the extra 10 days of rest time? I mean, it's not like the Colts are going to be good anyway, so.
Monitor after tomorrow. I don't think Nyheim Hines would be worth a whole lot more than maybe a flyer at 6% of your fab. I wouldn't burn a number 1 waiver wire for him. But
no,
honestly, if he's the only back in town, he's going to have at least a safe enough floor to put in your roster. And especially with some other names that I'm going to mention right now.
I would disagree. If Jonathan Taylor's only doing 20 for 42, I don't think that Nyheim Hines is going to get you anything better than what Jonathan Taylor could.
Okay, maybe temper that, then maybe 4% of your fab.
Yeah,
4%.
I'm in the firm boat of I would go after one of these other guys that we're going to talk about.
Yes,
for spot starts, and I would put a $0 bid in if you're in fab for Nyheim Hines, and if you happen to get him, you get him. Or wait for waivers to run if you're not on a fab system. Don't burn your priority and just pick them up in free agency.
Some of these I would burn my fab priority if I needed a running back, which guess what? I do.
Basically, everyone and their mother needs a running back.
So
fantasy football.
We'll start out with a quarterback here. I'm going to just throw out a name, and I'm going to say it again here. Jared Goff needs to be rostered. That defense is so bad, and even with no weapons, and I understand Seattle.
You know, I heard a stat. For fantasy purposes, the Detroit Lions are the number 1 fantasy football offense, and their defense is the 32nd ranked defense. So that's a perfect combination for points.
Hey, while we're talking about the Detroit Lions defense and, DK Metcalf toasting them, I'm going to go and eat my crow real fast. I'm sorry that if I told you to sit DK, that was wrong. He's built different. He's built different than every other receiver that has played against Detroit so far. So probably, I don't know, DK's got to have a safe enough floor, right? He has to put him in your lineup because he can do that. He can do that.
He can do that and be that man. So
yeah, Jared Goff needs to be rostered. If you're quarterback dependent or you're streaming quarterbacks, I don't think there's not a whole lot worse you can do than Goff. His offense is great because they have to score to keep up because their defense is so bad. And they have good weapons. Amon-Ra is going to be back this week. DeAndre Swift is going to be back in a couple weeks.
And I feel like the Lions with Hawkinson showing you that they could do it with Hawkinson and Jamal without the top 2 weapons in that offense just gives me that much more confidence of like, okay, even if they're not there, he can still get it done with what he currently has.
Yeah. Just a name thrown out there. Take a look at it. Biggest waiver priority I think is going to be happening this week. Tyler Algier. I can't see another option that I'd be willing to burn 35% of my fab on.
35?
35%. If you need a running back, 35%.
Okay. I mean, that's quite a bit of fab. But to be fair, Cordero is on IR now, and he's going to be out at least 4 weeks. So you do know you have a month worth of starts with Tyler Algier, even though we don't necessarily know how what's the word I'm looking for here, Ray? How
good he's going to be?
Yeah, how good his work is going to be, his touches, his points. I literally had it on the tip of my tongue, and then it about came out of my mouth, and it was like, oh, bye.
Well, so I can't see another running back option. There's nobody else in town over there. Nobody. Do you think I care about Darrell Williams or Damian Williams? I don't care at all about Damian Williams.
Whatever Williams it is.
Yeah, whatever Williams it is. I don't give any rat's asses about else but Tyler Algier. He showed that he can do it. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that the best goal line running back in football right now, Cordell Patterson, is sidelined.
Cordell. Yeah. I just like that he's like 32 and great.
I just don't. He's just too good. He's too good.
So next up, pay attention because Isaiah Pacheco got a bunch of run this game. They went to more of a two-back system with CEH and Isaiah Pacheco. And I mean, yeah, Jerick McKinnon was sprinkled in there, but he wasn't as involved as he had been in their offense, honestly, especially in the running game, looked a lot better with just the two of them rather than trying to get all three of them touches.
And I think that 20% of your fab on Isaiah Pacheco, I don't think that's too left fieldish of what you could spend. Because if CEH goes down, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be.
He's literally going to fill right in for CEH. He is the CEH if CEH goes down.
God, he looks good.
Looks pretty decent.
He looked good last night. Good. Also, Patrick Mahomes is really good at football.
Yeah, he's a different breed.
20% of my fab is what I would spend, and that's probably at the high end. I think you get away with 15%.
Yeah, I don't think I'm as bullish on this as you are, but I mean, to each their own, whatever they want. And probably the biggest news, Javonte Williams, ACL, season ender. Mike Boone. When he went out of the game, Mike Boone took over all that role. The most upsetting fact for Javonte owners is that was the game that Hackett was giving him 100% of the workload. Well, not really 100, like 90% of the workload, because we did see Melvin fumble one time.
Yeah, it's probably wise because Melvin came in, he's got 4 fumbles on the season, got punched out again. It wasn't even punched out, he just got hit hard and said, I don't want this ball anymore. So I think Melvin's role might be reduced a little bit, but you got to think going forward, it's probably Melvin Gordon and then Matt Boone.
Mike Boone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike Boone. And then most likely, because they signed Latavius Murray on the practice squad, he'll probably get some run too. It'll probably be a 3-headed system, but it's most likely Melvin Gordon's job to fumble away.
And he probably will fumble it away, but I'm going to hold on for dear hope as the Melvin owner that he all of a sudden is like, oh, this is my backfield. Let's go circa 2016 on the Chargers and just blow up.
Yeah, so. And it looked, I know that it was, again, the Raiders defense looks god-awful, but it looked like Russ kind of figured some things out. The passing game came alive a little more. It wasn't just check down after check down after check down.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to see, was just a little bit more downfield passing, because the weapons are there, right? It has to be.
They definitely still managed to lose that game, though.
Denver's a dumpster fire right now. Jesus Christ.
Your face just said it all, man. Your face said it all.
They're so disappointing. All of it. So disappointing.
I am glad to see that Russ did kind of figure some things out. Hopefully that's what happens going forward. hopefully we can kind of silence the panic alarm. Hopefully it was just a little bit of growing pains for full game speed, whatever. But he can do it now, so you're gonna play him again, right? I mean, you have to.
Yeah,
But
and
this is when he's gonna burn you.
for Boone, I'd probably put 15%. I'd probably no more than that. That's probably high.
Yeah, that's probably. I'd say probably 11.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is how I view Fab. Is that if you need somebody, if you think that they're going to be a role filler for your roster, spend the Fab. You can't take it with you in the offseason. You can't use it once you get past the postseason.
Just whatever you do, remember, keep at least $5 for the postseason.
Yeah, keep some cheese in your pocket, but you can't take it all with you. So you might as well spend up when you have the opportunity to buy wins. And I think right now is the time to do it, because later in the season it's just going to get thinner and thinner in the waiver.
It always does, and I mean, like you were just saying, it's literally this is buy wins. You're not think of these guys as rentals, because eventually, even if it is an injury, the starters are eventually going to come back. Not everyone always has season enders like Javonte Williams does. But buy you your 2-3 wins if you can go 500 over the next 4 weeks while Cordero Patterson's out, and then when he comes back, you're good. So, but
fresh legs coming back, right? Fresh legs.
32-year-old fresh legs touchdown machine Cordero.
Or Cordero doesn't see the field anymore because Tyler Aljo took the job.
I think he's like a 4th round pick though, isn't he? I don't have too much worry about Tyler Algier.
Aaron Jones was a 5th round pick.
Tyler Algier has done nothing to show what Aaron Jones has showed.
Just throwing out a name.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should temper expectations about running backs. You don't see very many round 1 running backs anymore. It's more of the 2, 3s, occasionally the 4s.
Speaking of the Raiders and Broncos game, Mac Holloway, I think he's at the point where he needs to be rostered.
It's Mac Hollins, you idiot.
Whatever the fuck his name is, I don't care. Whatever it is.
Dang.
Mac, whatever. Second receiver for the Raiders. Pick him up.
I need a censorship button.
I don't care.
Ray's in a mood today, ladies and gentlemen. Ray is in a mood.
Because I lost this week. That's for sure. Shouldn't have lost this week.
Well, welcome. Anyways,
you need to pick him up.
You want Alvin Kamara?
4%. 4%. No more than that. And even that, you could probably get him. You could probably sneak him on your roster after waivers run. But if you got a roster spot, I think he needs to be rostered, especially if Tay goes down.
Matt Collins, I agree. Yeah. I would be looking at tight end streamers. I mean, that's really the only wide receiver that needs to be rostered.
Probably.
Potentially, if Zach Wilson can get more efficient, potentially Corey Davis for the Jets. But Mac Wilson completed like 48% of his Zach Wilson completed like 48% of his passes. He's a dumpster fire anyways, like we've talked about, and I haven't liked him from the jump. But if Corey Davis is going to be the one that he targets, you're going to want to pick up whoever number 1 is in offense, even if it's abysmal.
Also, George Pickens, if he's on the waiver wire.
Agreed.
He needs to be rostered.
Take him.
He needs to be rostered. If he is going to take that much work in that offense, it doesn't matter what Kenny Pickens looks like. It doesn't matter. You can see that Pickens has the talent to take one to the house, to have a one-handed snag down the sideline, to do things that most people in the NFL cannot do. You can see that he has that talent. If he's going to get force-fed the ball, you're going to come up. And that's when I'd probably burn a little more fab, maybe like 6-7% of your fab if you're shallow at receiver.
I would agree. And especially if you're in a keeper league. Depending on how your settings are, I would look at picking him up too. Because like us, we take him in where they're a waiver guy, they go next year's ADP, right? The following year. But if you have a keeper league where if you pick them up off the waivers and keep them at the end of your draft, then please spend some money. You got anybody in the tight end position, Ray?
Just Robert Tonyan. He's more and more involved every week. He's still coming back from the ACL, so I think it's been a slow progression to that point. He's looking like he's going to be the 2B in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to, going forward, it very much so looks to me like Romeo Dobbs is the number one. It looks like that.
Yeah.
Then it's Alan Lazard right behind him. And I think that kind of starts to shift. And then it's going to be Robert Tonyan.
I think Lazard's still 1A. Dobbs is showing himself to be the one, but I think he's the 1B right now, second fiddle.
He's gotten multiple touchdown shots at least.
That is true. He's taken over the MVS role of last year.
That
he's catching the ball more.
He's also working on intermediate routes as well. I just think that going forward, it might be Romeo Dobbs' season, but I'm not sure yet. It's still like up in the air right now. I think that the Packers offense, as with every season, they have to figure things out.
Yeah, it takes them like 6 weeks to get things
Why?
going. I have no idea. Anyways, you have Miami's defense and special teams on this list.
Yeah. If you're looking to stream a defense and you got some fab to burn, 5% of your fab, go get Miami's defense.
What's their schedule like? They're just that good.
They're playing the Jets this week. So
makes sense.
Get yourself some points.
Makes sense. Other than that, man, that's pretty much it for waivers. Right?
I think they're like 20% or 30% owned.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna vet that real fast. But yeah, I think they're definitely 20% owned in most leagues. Sleeper, that's a really cool like function out that Sleeper has that you can see like, okay, how much is this defense or special teams or kicker or whatever it is, whoever it is rostered. They are rostered in 11% of leagues. So most likely out there.
They probably 100% are out there, my guy.
They'd be 89%.
That is fair, but
yeah, they'd be 89%.
That's fair. I mean,
that's
math, but I don't really math that well. So let's jump into a quick word from our sponsors, and then we shall jump into the weekly roundup.
Yeah, the roundup of things. We're rounding up the week.
All right, stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Hey, everyone. This show is brought to you by Driffles Jerky. Are you like us and love beef jerky, but hate paying those high prices for subpar meat? Well, at drifflesjerky.com, they have the money meat.
You said the money meat?
That's right, the money meat. Great tasting beef jerky made from top quality cuts of beef at great prices. Use promo code franchise tag to get yourself 10% off on your order today.
That's DRIFFILLS jerky.com. All right, everybody, we are back from the break. Hope you guys like beef jerky because beef jerky is the best. But anyways,
and Driffles Jerky is the best.
It is pretty dang scrumptious. So
quit saying scrumptious. It's so weird.
Scrumdiddly-umptious?
Can you stop? Do you wear a fanny pack?
Maybe.
No, how about this weekly roundup, Aaron?
Anyways, how about this weekly roundup? If you just stop, I would get into it, but you keep getting me sidetracked. We don't really need to touch on the Miami-Cincinnati game anymore, but Ray had a few notes about Joe Mixon being heavily involved and is a high-end running back 2 going forward. I asked Ray beforehand what this was about, and he said that's his floor.
Yeah, I was thinking that
agree.
Right now,
running back 15 is probably his floor.
That's what I was thinking. That's where my brain immediately went after watching that game, is that his floor, if he's going to maintain this level of, I guess, involvement in the offense, that's what we're looking at, is probably RB15 to obviously RB1 upside. It could be the RB1.
He definitely has the potential to finish RB1.
But his floor is safe. Yep,
I would agree with that completely. So next up is the Minnesota-New Orleans game. We kind of did it a little better this week, guys. But we're still going to refine it, though. I have a couple notes from this. New Orleans is bad. They're not good. But Minnesota's probably just as worse for letting them stay in that game, as far as on the defensive side of the ball. And this was definitely a get-right game for Justin Jefferson.
I think one other note that I want to take away from this game is that Dalvin Cook is getting a lot of work taken by Alexander Mattison. These are full drives he's getting taken away from him. And it's definitely hurting Dalvin Cook's upside, especially seeing how the offense just does not look like they've got it together yet. I just maybe this is a buy now target because they're eventually going to figure it out, right? They have to. They have to right the ship.
You're
They have
talking
to
about
figure
buy
out
now
that
for Cook? Go get him low?
I think it might be a buy now time for Dalvin Cook. Not specifically for me. Not for me, Aaron. You can take
What
that.
do you mean?
Wipe that off your right off the
Kamara Cook.
no. But I just think that it's probably going to be Dalvin Cook's floor is a little lower than you thought it might be going into the season. I think his ceiling is probably capped as well, as most likely going to be a low end RB1 as a ceiling. Maybe mid tier RB1 at the very max to be top of his ceiling, but most likely you're looking at an RB2 going forward. If Alexander Madison continues to be as involved as he is, and the offense looks as bad as it does, Kirk Cousins looks like absolute trash.
I think they're just doing that this week because number one, it was a London game, so it's an odd week anyways, and number two, his shoulder from last week. I think they're giving it just a little bit more time to not take a full workload and make sure that the device is actually going to work. I think he should be okay, but I agree. He's kind of capped this year. He's not the Dalvin Cook of old.
No. And I wish he was.
Shelf life goes quick on running backs, man.
Clearly. How do you feel about Kirk Cousins going forward? How do you feel? Does you think that he can still finish as a QB1?
Yeah, he'll end up snaking it out at the end of the year.
You know, Jared Goff's going to be there. You know he's going to be.
Yeah, but the way it's going and looking is that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers probably won't.
I don't know. That's a toughie.
So, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Hey, Gino might be there. He's a quarterback 9.
No telling. Did you know that this has been 3 weeks in a row that Tyler Lockett's had over 75 receiving yards?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah,
sneaky. It's quiet. You don't hear about it.
Moderately monitor that. If he's on your waiver, maybe grab him.
Definitely would. So Cleveland, Atlanta. What do you got? Nick Chubb's probably one of the best running backs in football.
Behind Cordero Patterson, yes. Look, what we saw from Tyler Algier definitely put some confidence for me to say that he will go in as a solid running back 2 going forward until Cordell comes back. He looked fine. He didn't look bad. He doesn't look as explosive as Cordell Patterson, obviously, but not a lot of running backs do, honestly. I think that's why I'm so ready to spend up for Tyler Algier. I think that's why. And the offensive needs a running game. They have to have it because Kyle Pitts, he's woof.
Mariota's no longer a streaming candidate from what you saw.
Yeah, that game didn't instill any confidence in me starting any part of Marcus Mariota, even in a 2-quarterback league. I'm still not interested.
Somehow Amari Cooper is going to be what Amari Cooper has always been, where it's super up down. You never really necessarily know what weeks to start him, but he can give you the 25-point weeks, but he can also give you the 2-point weeks. So that's going to be roll the dice how you see fit. We'll try to help you navigate it the best that we can, but just know that's probably going to happen.
How I'm feeling about Amari Cooper right now, I think that where you drafted him, what his draft capital was, and what's most likely on your roster means that you don't have a choice. You have to put Amari Cooper in your lineup. And you're going to have to eat it when he puts up a 2-point stinker. But you're going to be real happy when you do put him in because he does have the potential of going off. Because he is a talented receiver. Let's not get it twisted. He is a talented receiver. It's just, what is Jacoby Brissett? What is he? I don't know. He's like a game manager +1.
Yeah, I feel that. Good game to talk about here. Buffalo versus Baltimore. Baltimore came out stupid hot, and Buffalo looked awful. And then it was basically the second half of the game, the roles were reversed. Lamar didn't necessarily get really any help, I would say, per se, in the second half. Everyone kind of fizzled out. Mark Andrews didn't do anything in that game, which really hurt. Rashad Bateman went down as well.
That's what I was going to bring up. I think that Rashad Bateman is more necessary to that offense than people are realizing.
Yep. I think him and Duvernay are both more necessary because they take the tops off the defense, and people know that now. So when they're on the field, it creates space in the middle for Mark Andrews, creates space for Lamar to run and do what he wants to do. J.K. Dobbins is fully back. There's no denying that J.K. Dobbins, second week back from the injury, he got eased into it, and he is back. My wife had him on her team. The Alvin Kamara news came out, and she played A.J. Dillon instead of J.K. Dobbins because she thought it was still going to be a tough game and him coming off of the injury. And, the whole time I was like, dang, babe, that's not
That's
good.
tough.
I'm sorry. That's super
It's
tough.
But
I mean, would you have projected that to happen?
In the start of this week, I would have still went AJ Dillon. Seeing what I saw from what J.K. Dobbins looked good.
J.K.
fine.
Dobbins full-time starter in her lineup now.
I think that he
Just
needs
about
to be in your
anybody's
roster.
lineup.
Yeah, pretty much, regardless of what it is, he needs to be in your lineup. But
Let me ask you this:
what's up?
J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, going forward.
Ooh. Does Alvin Kamara play the whole season? Is there some weird suspension that might happen in November?
Let's just say he plays the whole season.
I'm probably still going Kamara.
You think so?
His leash is that long.
She's got Kamara, she's got Lenny, she's got JK, she's got AJ Dillon, and I think she has one more little depth piece. Her running backs aren't too bad. It's just the sheer fact of Kamara's just hurting everybody.
We're going to get to AJ Dillon here in a minute. We're going to get to him.
We are. So, anyways, let's move on. What else you got on this game?
That's pretty much it. This is a blip on the radar for Mark Andrews. The Ravens defense loves giving up leads. They love pissing games away. And Josh Allen looked human for the first part of that game, first half of that game. But let me tell you, Josh Allen Henry came out and just started running all over Baltimore's defense. And I say Josh Allen Henry because he was running people over.
I got the reference. I promise.
He's a lineman playing quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I see in some of these notes here, Buffalo in 6 quarters looked awful. They did look awful through 6 quarters of football, as you were just alluding to. And Devin Singletary, as you put in here, is the only running back to worry about in Buffalo, period. But unfortunately, I don't think that you can start him week in, week out.
He's a flex play at best. He's a flex play, and you better hope he gets in the end zone. Other than that,
yep. All right, man. We're probably going to be getting a little long if we try to hit every one of these games.
We got to jam through a few.
Yeah, well, we might have to start speed running through these. Up next, Washington, Dallas. What do you have to say about that?
Zeke seemed like he had a little bit of burst back, but at the end of the day, I'm still not interested in like the whole Zeke Pollard nonsense. I'm not interested in it. I didn't see anything that I wanted to see from either of them.
Agreed.
And I don't know if when Dak comes back, it fixes that. But Dak might be back in 2 weeks. Might be back.
He might be back, but Cooper Rush is 4-0. Are you really gonna rush Dak back? Are you gonna rush Dak back at this point in time, though?
I don't think you're rushing him back.
If you're the Cowboys,
I don't think you're rushing him back. But if he's available,
CD hasn't looked bad with Cooper Rush either.
I think if he's available to play, you're paying him too much money to sit him on the bench. And that's really what it is. That's what the Dallas Cowboys are going to decide. I can tell you that right now. So
that is fair. Carson Wentz cannot start. Carson Wentz cannot play. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, as Ruben said. But last week, Carson Wentz gonna Carson Wentz. So that is what it is at that point in time. Cut bait and let's move on.
Yeah, I apologize if he's honestly Carson Wentz is probably a decent enough flex or streaming candidate if he is not playing against a good pass rush. If he's playing against a good pass rush, he's useless. Don't put him in.
He loses his marbles in his head and does stupid stuff.
He just wants to literally throw off of his back foot every play. Every play. He's either getting a sack or he's throwing off his back foot. One of the two. Go back and watch that game. It's in your face.
I was looking at it. The Robbie Gould missed a field goal. Doesn't happen very often, so that's why I was like, whoa.
Last note I want to talk about in this specific. 2 notes. Gibson, nowhere to be found in a negative game script at all. Nowhere to be found. Very, very concerning going forward.
Brian Robinson coming back too. Also, note he should be practicing this week.
Gibson
maybe won't play this week, maybe not play next week, but Gibson is probably on the downward slope for the rest of the year.
Literally not involved in a game where you would have thought he was going to at least get some run. Nope. It was J.D. McKissick as soon as they went down. And it was all J.D. McKissick.
It's ridiculous. I don't know, man. Ron Rivera is definitely on the hot seat, right?
Oh, yeah, he's got to be. And just a side note. This is for deeper leagues, like the 16-man leagues. Noah Brown, still, even with Michael Gallup back, 4 receptions, 64 yards, and that was at what? That was his stat line. 4 receptions, 64 yards. He's still involved, and as long as Cooper Rush is there,
he's a good bye week fill too, if in full PPR leagues, because that's 10 points right there.
Yeah, especially if CD goes down, he's going to be way involved.
Yep.
16-man leagues, pick him up.
I think week 5 is the first week of bye weeks, or is it week 6?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those 2 weeks. It might be week 6. Week 5 or 6 is the first week of bye weeks. I'll have to look at that. So the next game up, Seattle, Detroit. We already talked about it. Detroit's offense still functional. Jared Goff still good without weapons. DK is that dude. Monitor Tyler Lockett on the backside. Rashad Penny, I think, had an explosion of a game. I don't think it will be that every week, but
sell high.
But sell high or hold on to it, but manage expectations and know that he can do it against bad defenses. Maybe a matchup play. Maybe hold on to him and be a matchup play.
Yeah, because if they play Detroit every week, I'm putting Rashad Penny in every damn time.
You ain't lying.
Because it seemed like every 3rd and 76 that Detroit was in, that Seattle was in, he literally picked it up every time. I'm like, what is going on?
Nobody has a clue, man. So, but I don't know. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers versus Houston. Eckler finally scores in this game and scored a bunch. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams had a good game.
Without Keenan Allen there, Mike Williams is an absolute must start every time. When Keenan Allen is back, that's when you really have to start looking at the matchup, and then really what you're doing is just playing a guessing game because you don't know if it's going to be the Mike Williams week or not.
Yeah, Gerald Everett had a pretty decent week. The touchdown catch did help him there too, so he is still viable. Houston side of the ball, Davis Mills once again doesn't look good. Brandon Cook somehow still got it done with double-digit fantasy points. And Damian Pierce.
He's moving into a weekly start.
I'm about to say, I think we're getting in that category where he's starting to move into weekly flex consideration starts, things like that. And that him being able to run the ball like that in the Houston offense on the Chargers makes me think that the Chargers rush defense isn't as good as we thought it was. I know they don't have Joey Bosa right now, but still not very good rush defense there. I
don't think it's good at all. And Damian Pierce needs to probably be started at this point. I didn't see very much. That game was on the whole time. I didn't see a lot of Rex Burkhead. Not a lot.
It was like 22 total touches to 5 total touches in favor of Pierce.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot. So I'm just saying, Damian Pierce it's a great start going forward right now. Great start.
Yeah, he is probably going to be in consideration for my lineup every week.
Yeah.
No,
especially if you're the Kamara owner.
Especially with, if number 1, you're the Kamara owner, and number 2, we're about to go into the game that we're going to talk about, Tennessee versus Indy, and Indianapolis looks as bad as they do, and Michael Pittman isn't getting involved. We could talk about Miami again with Tua being injured for right now, and Jalen Waddle might be dead, so he is in good flex consideration for me. So anyways, Tennessee versus Indy. My notes are Matt Ryan is not good. I don't know what Frank Wright's doing. Jonathan Taylor, who's supposed to be one of the best running backs in football, looks awful. He's now injured. Going to probably miss, like we talked about this week, and then not come back until the week after, which is a total of like 17 days worth of total rest or something like that in between games, which should hopefully get him right. You'd never know what tight end to start in Indianapolis, so don't even try to guess. And then
tight ends suck. Look at the tight end 5 from this week. 4 receptions, 41 yards. Start one of the Indianapolis Colts' tight ends. What is that 6 points getting you?
Nothing.
I
Yeah.
think Molly Cox is definitely the leader of that group right now. But Jelani Woods has been more and more involved every week. And I just want to keep mentioning his name because I think that it's going to eventually shift over to the rookie.
So I would agree. I have a question for you, though. Side note.
What's up?
Do you have a worthy quarterback streamer in place of Matt Stafford who just threw a 50-something yard pick six? I'm looking for a new quarterback.
Oh, asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, Jared Goff, but he ain't in our league right now.
Let me get Russ. I'll package something together.
Russ look good this week. I don't know. He's cooking. No, I don't know.
Oh, man.
I hope that was a pick six. That was a pick six for San Francisco?
Yeah. Rube just gave me GG's in the chat.
Am I
too.
in? I gotta look. Hold on, guys. This is important. Am I in play?
Stop it. So, anyways, I will continue on with the rest of this. We got a little sidetracked. Titans aren't using Henry in the red zone. Ray's probably pretty damn close. And I'm within 2 points of Ruben, even with that pick six, because I'm playing the Niners defense. So this is a close one. Sorry, guys. It's Monday night and must-win situations for both me and Ray.
That's tough. It's not a must-win for me, but I
Ruben,
would like
if you're
to.
hearing this, I'm within 2 points of you. Thanks for the GGs in the chat, but I still think that you have it. I think we still have a whole nother quarter to go, don't we?
We sure do. And I need San Francisco to
half
really
of the
lay
fourth.
it on here.
I need LA to get the ball back where either Stafford can throw another pick six or Cooper Kupp can catch a touchdown. But anyways, I'm within 2 points. So that's pretty much it for that game. Indy sucks. Tennessee's not using Derrick Henry in the red zone. Treylon Burks got hurt. So look at Robert Woods. He might be a good play because he seems to be the only thing in that offense that's left outside of Derrick Henry, who they're not using in the red zone. So anyways.
But they're giving him passing work. So I wouldn't sell. Don't sell low. He's getting passing work.
No, yeah.
Looks fine.
Yep. Chicago, New York Giants.
There's
Saquon's
not
still
a
the man.
whole lot. Yeah, Saquon's
still the man. Khalil Herbert just basically gave David Montgomery his entire workload back when David Montgomery's back from injury. So yeah, Justin Fields kind of got it going in the passing game, but doesn't do anything to really help himself.
He does nothing to protect himself when he gets hit. He's been banged up this whole season. He's looked hurt through a couple of games, and do not buy into the Darnell Mooney anything. I think this was a blip again on the radar. Do not spend up Fab. If you got a spot and you want to put him on your roster, fine. Don't burn a waiver priority. Don't spend Fab. Get him off of the once waivers run.
So Jacksonville, Philadelphia is up next. Robinson is the lead back. It wasn't a good game script for the Jags at all, realistically. It wasn't a good game at all for either team because of the torrential downpour that was happening. Still decent, though. I mean, Robinson's the lead back. ETN he's not ever going to be anything, I don't think, at this point in time from what we see.
As long as James Robinson is there, ETN is almost worthless.
Yeah, so
he's not a cut. You don't cut him. You don't. Now he's just a handcuff. You don't cut him. But that sucks because you spent probably a fourth or even third round pick on him. You probably did.
Yep. I like your note on here. I'm going to let you read it. The top one.
Oh, T Law. He's real.
Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is real. I think that in almost every format, you need to be considering starting Trevor Lawrence. Look, the Eagles' defense is good, really good, and Trevor Lawrence was fine.
Yep, I agree.
Fine.
I agree.
That's probably the best matchup you could have had a real gauge test on him, and he passed the eyeball test to me. He's most likely a weekly start now.
I agree. Philadelphia side, obviously we know who Philadelphia is. We don't need to talk about it. Start Jalen Hurts, start AJ Brown, start Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, is a good play week in, week out. And their defense obviously is go ahead and start them just about any matchup that you have and be happy about it.
Don't bench Miles Sanders anymore. Don't do it.
Just let him play.
Yeah, just let him play. Put him in.
Just let him play. Running backs are always kind of up and down, anyways. So, but anyways, let's power through these, dude. We're getting long. New York Giants versus Pittsburgh. Zach Wilson sucks. Mitch sucks. Kenny Pickett came in.
Mitch got benched.
Yeah, hyper targeted George Pickens. And as you said in here, any defense is a great defense to start against Zach Wilson.
AKA Miami next week. I understand Kyler Murray is the quarterback 6 in the season. It will get better when D-Hop's back. Don't watch any of the games. Just put him in your lineup. Because let me tell you, this game sucked. From the first quarter to the third quarter, this game sucked. And Kyler Murray looked awful. But he turned it on at the end, so you were fine. I think he had 26 points or something.
Yep. Yeah, something like that. But New England versus Green Bay. We kind of touched on this one earlier.
Yep. So, Romeo Doubs is at this point. I think Romeo Doubs is a weekly start as a flex candidate. He is in the same consideration as Allen Lazard. Again, flex candidate. I think going forward until you see AJ Dillon start being involved, he is more of a low end running back too, but his work and volume is so high right now that it's only going to take a couple for him to break one out. So he's probably a buy candidate right now for your leagues. And I can't see he's like one of the best handcuffs you can have, because if Aaron Jones goes down, that's a league winner. That's how I see it. And
I agree.
Mac Jones was already out. Brian Hoyer went down. Whatever Bailey Zappi, Haley Zappi, whatever his name is, he ain't it. That ain't it.
Zappi. No,
and
I didn't do too bad, but I'm more worried about the Packers letting the Patriots hang around
and to go to overtime. That was awful.
Yeah. So,
scared me.
Denver versus Las Vegas. Russ cooking a lot.
Tay righted the ship. That's why you never set him. That's why. Don't ever listen to anybody saying anything different. Let's talk about Josh Jacobs for 1 second.
Okay.
I get it. He blew up. Manage those expectations. Josh Jacobs is a running back too, and that's it. This was just a really good week. But let me tell you, man, Josh Jacobs does this to people every season. You buy in, and then bam. So if somebody's trying to sell high for you, I'd probably take it. I'd take it and run, because I don't think this is a weekly thing. There's no way. There's no way that now it's Josh Jacobs season. There's no way it's now.
I would agree, especially on the 4th year of his contract. They don't pick up the 5th year option. They might run the brakes, run him till the wheels fall off, but I really, really, really doubt it. Waller
they fall off often.
Yeah, Waller had a dud game, so I mean that's kind of expected.
Right now, it's just been every week.
I know it's been that there's too many mouths to feed in that offense now, and Waller's one that took the hit.
He's killing you in fantasy,
but
you can't sit him because tight ends suck.
Agreed. So then next up we have Kansas City, Tampa Bay. This was a really good game. Kansas City got out from the jump and just took off. Off on them.
CEH is looking like he's going to finish as an RB1.
I am officially ahead of Ruben by 0.02.
That's because it's because you good gamed him. That's why.
We good gamed each other all week. But anyways, CEH what?
CEH is, if he's healthy by the end of the season, he will finish as an RB1.
I agree, and it's ridiculous. People got him in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. He was just dropping. But yeah, it's good value.
I really wish I would have got him.
It was good value. So, anyways, let's wrap this last one up as the game is going on right now. LA versus San Francisco. Matt Stafford. San Francisco has LA's number regular season. Debo is Debo. Stafford is only looking for Kupp and Higbee. Allen Robinson is not a thing. The running backs for LA are doing okay. Jeff Wilson isn't doing much in Elijah Mitchell's absence. Anything else you want to add on that?
Jeff Wilson did take one to the heezy for sheezy, but outside of that, he's not doing too bad. 15 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. That's not bad at all.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Jeff
I guess
Wilson
I'm just
looking
skewed.
good.
Guess I'm just a little
Elijah
skewed
Mitchell
in this one.
might be a great pickup if you can get him because he's coming
Maybe.
back.
Maybe. All right, man. So let's wrap this one up here. Do you have anything else to say?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. As always, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we go live. I know I messed that one up first time in a while. Use code franchise tag for 10% off your order at driftlessjerky.com. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And until next time, we will see you later.